Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy LVS Void coming back with What If Naruto Was Doma Part 5. So I didn't post yesterday as that was the first day coming back to school. I'm now in year 13 for those who don't actually know, so I'll just put that in there. Uh, with last episode, we ended off with Sasuke returning back to the village as well as Naruto after Sasuke had finally killed Orochimaru and Kabuto had fled that base. And with Sasuke now coming back to the village, he was pronounced the true heir to the Uchiha clan, as well as being revoked of all those crimes against the village, like leaving with the assistance of Naruto, pleading to the Hokage, which is Tsunade at this time. So before we get into the video, I'd just like to say, please hit that like button and subscribe button, and let's just get right into it. We'll now go to Hidan and Kakuzu's arc. With Hidan and Kakuzu, with their parents at the temple and them massacring all the temple people there, they would still kill all the people there, as well as taking the head of the head temple master and taking that off to hand in the money to collect the bounty of that monk. With Asuma's team, with him and those two other tuning pairs, not the actual team as well, they would still go and confront both Hidan and Kakuzu. With the same as original, Asame will die during this time, and the two Chunin would go and head back to the village, telling them exactly what happened, with that Asuma was killed during the battle with Hidan and Kakuzu, and that they know that their abilities are now the immortality of Hidan, as well as the blood art, no, not blood art, but the blood skill of Hidan. With again the new founded team, well, not really new founded, but the team of Asuma, which was Shikamaru and Ino and Choji, with Kakashi stepping in as the role as the leader of Team 10, they would go off and have the same fighting with Hidan and Kakuzu, with everything happening relatively the same. Team Asuma, with the help of Kakashi as well as some other random tuning that were sent as well, they will be able to deal with with Hidan and Kakuzu with relative ease, or not really relative ease, but still the same difficulty as before, with Kakashi using his actual Mangekyo Sharingan, which is Kamui, to still warp Kakuzu's hearts and such like that, as well as Hidan, with Hidan then getting decapitated, with Shikamaru and the rest of Team 10 seeking revenge on Hidan for killing their sensei. With that pretty much finished, Naruto, all that team would head back to the village, with Naruto, who is still chilling in his clan foundation, where the new Uzumaki clan would be stationed in the village, as Naruto wanted to have a little temple area where they would have, it would basically be the exact same type of temple situation with Doma, like in Demon Slayer, where he's basically the head of the Uzumaki clan and would also be given a seat at the council, with Naruto basically having a pawn of Sasuke, as well as a lot of the other villagers and heads of the clans also seeing that Naruto is a very capable ninja, as well as very intelligent. Naruto would basically have them all in the palm of his hand. With Naruto not needing training, the training arc with Naruto wouldn't really happen, and as Naruto doesn't really need, or he has all the capabilities like Sage Mode and all his absolute regeneration and all that nonsense like that, as well as Sasuke, who hadn't learned Sage Mode but was still extremely strong from being a demon as such, that type of arc would also finish. There is no Itachi arc, which means there's also no Sage arc training, which means we would go straight to where Jiraiya has been sent off to the Rain Village, where he would be confronted by pain, as well as dying to the paths of pain. With Jiraiya dying to the paths of pain, he would still send through the toad that would tell him the paths of pain's powers. and all that stuff like that. So that would happen the exact same. With Naruto having to fake cry as well, acting really emotional during the death of his, his sensei in a way, would act very depressed all the time during these moments, and after a while he would seemingly get over it, but deep down in his heart he never cared for Jiraiya, he never cared for him at all, and just saw him as something to gain power from, as it still doesn't really mean anything to him, that type of relationship with Jiraiya. He never felt the same way with Jiraiya that he did with anybody at all, nobody. With now, there's no battle between brothers, Sasuke and Itachi's already dead. The invasion of pain would now happen, with Nagato as well as Konan coming into the village, being led by not Obito there directly, but being told by Obito to go and collect the Nine Tails Jinchuriki Naruto, as he knows that he is pretty strong, and sent off Nagato to finish off the job and collect the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, as Kisame, also not Kisame, as himself, Obito, or Madara Uchiha, would go off to go collect the Eight Tails Killer Bee for himself, as he doesn't have any other pawns of the Akatsuki, as all of them are dead, as we went through the other parts as well. With the Invasion Pain arc, again, the same situation would happen, with Pain directing all the normal paths, like the Ultra Path, Human Path, Animal Path, and Naraka Path, to all act as a diversion to get Naruto into a place where they can just, rip out his soul and take the body and plant it in when they need to take out the Nine Tails from his body. With Pain coming into the village as well as Konan, they would blast away the village, going into seeing as many ninja and civilians alike, and asking, or basically forcing them to tell them where Naruto is located. With Naruto, who is still, the saint of the village, nobody would give Naruto's whereabouts away, as they know that he is still somewhere in the village, namely being the Uzumaki clan's little area in the village. They wouldn't tell anybody, but after Nagato, who is ripping out the souls of these people and reading their minds, would find out that Naruto is just in the Uzumaki clan section of the village. With Nagato as well as Konan and all the other paths knowing where Naruto is, they would all seek out Naruto, go into the Uzumaki clan area of the village, and would try, and the Diva path would use a Shinra Tensei, blowing apart the entire fortress where the Uzumaki or Naruto is. With Pain as well as all the other paths of Pain coming in, they would see as Naruto is just sitting down on a beanbag, relatively annoyed that his house and his little shrine area have been destroyed by Pain, and would target his entire killing intent towards Pain. Pain, who is, still just a dead body, wouldn't showcase that he is scared, but Nagato, who is watching all this, is feeling a relative fear of Naruto at this moment, as he can feel the amount of killing intent and the amount of bloodlust from all the way away where he's controlling the paths of Pain at that time. With Naruto seemingly wanting to get this over with, as these people are just annoying his peace and the meals that he will have that day, Naruto would use the Frozen Lotus, revealing his fans as well, and delivering some fast slashes with razor-sharp eye shots coming out of the blades himself, and would pierce and decapitate some of the other paths of Pain, namely being the human path as well as the animal path, as Naruto can, from sensing earlier of this entire situation, was sense that these two paths were able to, the human path being able to rip out souls, and the animal path being able to summon huge creatures to destroy more of the village. Naruto doesn't want the village to be destroyed, as if this is his territory and his feeding area, where he will have the people, namely all his followers of the village, as snacks. Sasuke, who was actually in the village at this moment, would actually come and attack Pain, going and destroying the Naraka path as well as the Preta path, destroying all but the Ashura path and the Diva path, with Naruto feeling pretty annoyed and not really wanting to do any of this himself. He would summon his cold white princesses, which would then summon two female humanoid figures at the end of the lotuses, and the princesses at the end of the lotuses would blow a cold mist towards both the Diva path as well as the Ashura path. Because these bodies are actually dead, but still having human-like, not having like regeneration and such, the insides as well as the actual skin itself would start to melt and disintegrate as the blood itself is deteriorating the entire body. With both the Diva path and the Ashura path not being able to escape from any of this, they would also die, with Nagato not having any parts left. Sasuke would tell Naruto that these aren't real bodies after taking a bite out of one of the parts, and say that these bodies aren't, they have been dead for a while, and that these aren't actually the real bodies of Nagato. With Naruto seeing that this is true, as we can see from different parts of Demon Slayer, that Doma, or demons of high ranking, can actually see like the flesh and stuff, and can tell if people are related and such. So Naruto would also, from far long ago, know that these actually are dolls, and could see that the chakra receivers in the bodies of the parts of Pain are actually being controlled by somewhere else. Naruto, who is still in a state of sage mode, would go and pick up the rods, and could sense and try to track and where these rods are actually located. With Naruto and Sasuke going towards where the path that Naruto had sensed where Nagato really is, Nagato would know that these people are coming for him now, and would tell Konan that they need to get out of there. But before they could, Naruto uses a massive wind tree icicles, and above the entire tree that they are in, numerous icicles would impale the tree, shredding it apart, revealing Nagato with his crippled look, as well as Konan, who is on the defensive trying to defend Nagato, with Naruto there with his fans smiling, saying that that Pain as well as Konan annoyed him to a massive degree, with him coming to the village and destroying his house as well as all the people in the village. He would tell Nagato that he's here to just kill him, as he is being really annoying and mean as a bully type figure, with Naruto also fake crying. Sasuke, who knows that Naruto is just an absolute faking all this, would kind of roll his eyes, as this type of situation is always happening, with Naruto faking all this emotion, and would just sigh heavily, going over to go and kill Konan, as she's going to be annoying during this battle, as Nagato looks very crippled and very weak. With Nagato still being able to use his actual abilities, as all the paths of Pain are gone, he would try to use a Shinra Tensei, but before he could do it, Sasuke had sensed the chakra, and using his Sharingan, he would blitz towards Nagato, killing him in an instant, stopping all this, stopping everything else from happening. And Naruto, who sees Konan as a very tasty meal, as she does look quite young and beautiful, would then go for the kill, and would easily absorb Konan, as the fight wouldn't have gone to a massive deal. Naruto, who had known that and sensed that these eyes of Nagato would tell Sasuke to stop and to not eat Nagato, as he wants to eat him, as he looks very nutritious, and those eyes of his seem to have a really big power. With Naruto then going and eating both of eyes of Nagato, and not wanting to actually eat the body, as it looks very disgusting, as it is very crippled and looks really malnourished. So Naruto would just eat the eyes and would absorb that power, trying to replicate it in Naruto's actual body to be able to have the Rinnegan. With Naruto now looking through the DNA of these eyes, would tell that this is not actually from Nagato himself, that these aren't his original eyes, and could see that there is both Uchiha as well as Senju type of DNA, as he knows what Uchiha DNA is from, like Sasuke, as well as he knows what Senju DNA is from Tsunade, and you could tell that this is just a combination of two different chakras. Naruto, who is busy absorbing these abilities, wouldn't fully be able to absorb it yet, and would tell Sasuke that it will take some time for him to be able to use these abilities for himself. With Naruto having the Rinnegan, and Naruto and Sasuke heading back to the village, Naruto now having the Rinnegan, that would make a massive difference for the rest of the series, as when Naruto and Sasuke head back to the village and the village is starting to repair itself, there'd be a lot less damage, as the village wasn't completely, Shinra Tensei'd completely, so there isn't a lot of damage, but there is still quite a bit of damage, with much less deaths, as Naruto was in the village, and Pain, or Nagato, went straight towards Naruto in the Uzumaki clan territory of the village. With Obito coming towards knowing that through Zetsu that Nagato had died, as well as Konan, Obito would go to try find Nagato's body and retrieve his Rinnegan. With Obito then coming towards the body, where he sees a whole bunch of blood and would think that that's from Konan, he would go towards Nagato's body and search his eyes. Seeing that his eyes aren't there, Obito would curse massively, saying that his one plan of getting those eyes to be able to resummon the Geto Mazo is not a complete failure, as he can't make another Rinnegan, as those were the only pair, in the world at that time. And Zetsu as well would be even more angry, as this is a major setback towards reviving his mother. Obito would then decide that he has to start a whole war to get Naruto and to be able to get those eyes back from him, as he doesn't know what Naruto has done, if he's implanted it into his own, or is keeping it for safekeeping, but doesn't know that Naruto would actually eat in the eyes and is starting to assimilate these abilities to be able to have the Rinnegan, but with the he would still keep his regular rainbow eyes, but would have the Rinnegan abilities. Back at the village, most of the people in the village are safe, and we congratulate Naruto and Sasuke as the heroes of the leaf, as they had single-handedly taken care of the Palace of Pain, as well as gone after the person that was controlling them and stopping the Akatsuki leader for once and for all. With that pretty much done, and Naruto getting lots of praise, he would, at night, after all this is done, he would start to feast on a lot of young women and just young people in general, as a few missing people wouldn't really mean anything, as those people could have, died during the actual attack itself. With that pretty much done, Tsunade is still in the village as a Hokage, but during that night as well, on the night, Tsunade was attacked by Naruto, and a fight would ensue between them. Naruto, as well, in the Hokage office, would be able to completely surround the area in ice. Because of everything being completely surrounded in ice, Naruto would have an absolute advantage over this, and would recreate the water lily Buddha statue, and an enormous Buddha statue surrounded by lotus of ices would go and freeze, blowing a massive breeze, and would freeze Tsunade, stopping her in place, and would start to disintegrate her skin around her arms, and would start to completely disintegrate her body, with the Buddha statue now as well using its arms to crush and destroy Tsunade's body. With Tsunade now dead, and this Shizune would also be there and would also be killed by Naruto. Naruto would feast on both Tsunade as well as Shizune, and they would be dead. With them now dead, and Naruto eating them, there would now need to be a new Hokage, as no one had actually seen Tsunade before this, as she was, helping people in the hospital during that time as well. They would assume that she had probably died in chakra absorption, and that would be pretty much done. With the Fire Lord now needing to admit a new Hokage, Naruto would say that he could step up to the job, And with Naruto being praised through the entire leaf as being the hero of the leaf, as well as being a very smart and calculative individual and being a saint of the village, he would try to get Naruto as the 6th Hokage, as Tsunade was the 5th. With Danzo, he doesn't want any of this to happen. He doesn't want Naruto to become the 6th Hokage. He wants to become the 6th Hokage, but doesn't say anything, as he is trying to make a new plan to use Koto Matsukami on Naruto as a backup plan to have him basically as a shadow Hokage, and Danzo basically leading the leaf by himself. Back with Obito. Obito is trying to figure out a way to plan the war against the entire world, as he needs to try and resummon Madara, as well as try to get Naruto's eyes or the Rinnegan back from Naruto or the Leaf Village in total, as he doesn't have enough actual firepower to combat the entire world, as all the Biju are trapped in the Gedomazo except for just the Ninetales, as B had died because Obito did go to attack B and did in fact kill him and take in the 8 tails. With the 1 to 8 tails inside the Gedomazu, and Obito not being able to actually get any of that, Obito would start to plan with Zetsu for this, how the plan would work. With Obito wanting to recruit as many people as he can, he would go to recruit Kabuto, who is now in his perfect sage mode type of situation, and would tell Kabuto to use the resummoning of the dead jutsu, and would start to resummon as many past Kage from all the villages, as well as a very strong ninja, to create an absolute army, with Zetsu as well also trying to create a large army as well. With all that happening back at the village, Naruto would be appointed the 6th Hokage, being an absolute menace to society at that point. He is incredibly strong, now has the powers of the Rinnegan. There wouldn't be anybody to really contest his power at all, so this will basically be in favor of Naruto, and he basically take over the world at this point. With the Five Kage Summit arc coming to now, the villagers would start to have a Kage Summit. Naruto would take Sasuke with him alone, as he doesn't need two bodyguards with him, and they would head to the land of the samurai, or the land of steel, the samurai villages and all that stuff. With them coming to there, and all the other Kages of all the other village, they would start to talk about the Akatsuki and where all the actual Bijus are. With Naruto being the only Jinchuriki left of the village, of any village at all, they would start to wonder if this is Konoha's doing, with Naruto saying that it's not, and that these people are getting on his nerves at this point, as they're putting all the blame on Konoha, and it has nothing to do with him that they lost all their Biju. Obito as well as Zetsu would now come into the plane. Obito, still pretending to, be Madara Uchiha, would say that he declares the 4th Ninja War on all the villages, and to give the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki to him, and would point at Naruto, saying that he has a week to turn himself in, or he can just turn himself in now. With Naruto being annoyed that this guy's, underestimating him greatly, would before he could actually leap at him, Sasuke would leap at him using his demon blood art, which is just lightning, and would form a complete lightning clone of himself. It would be like Naruto's little princesses, the divine child, but it would be instead of ice, it would be electricity or lightning. And it would just take the form of a mini Sasuke, and Sasuke, as well as 3 of those little clones, as well as them using a lightning cloak, as well as Chidori, would rush towards Obito. Obito would still use his Kamui and get out the way, with Sasuke not being able to hit him. With all the other Kage in this moment, they would start to attack, with Naruto just sitting idly, waiting for this to die down, as he's already looked at how Obito fights with his Kamui, and would looking at his flesh, he would just see that the Obito is actually like not even human at this point, as he's made of, half of Hashirama's cells, and would say to Obito that he's not Madara Uchiha, and he's someone different, someone who's like at the age of 30 at this point, or 40. I think it's like 30, because Kakashi and him are like nearly the same age. So around 30 years old, and would tell him that there's no way that you can be Madara Uchiha, as your body is also made out of Hashirama cells. With Obito being caught off of this and how Naruto knows this, Naruto would release his fans and would use scattering lotuses around the entire Kages around him. And with the swings of his fan, he would create a blizzard of long-range razor-sharp ice shards that are shaped like lotus petals and would shoot towards all the Kage, killing Mei, as well as the substitute for the Kazekage, as well as stabbing A, and not missing using particle style the Land of Stone, the Tsuchikage, as well as missing Obito, as that ice blade went straight through him. With the Kage now thinking that Naruto is turning against them, they would try to, put on the defense, with the Tsuchikage trying to use particle style to erase Naruto. Naruto would be annoyed by this and immediately blitz the Tsuchikage and, just swipe off his neck in an instant. With A seeing that Naruto's speed had greatly outsped him, basically blitzing him, Naruto would use a almighty pull, and would pull A towards him, and then would use wintry icicles and spawns icicles and impales A, killing him in an instant. With all the village heads now dead, as well as all the other shinobi, like the guards that were there, they would also be dead. It is just left with Obito, Sasuke, and Naruto. Naruto and Sasuke would battle Obito and would immediately outstrength him, outspeed Obito, and everything. And a fight between Obito and Naruto would then start. Then the fight would go as how you'd expect it. Naruto would take advantage of him having both Sasuke and himself there, as well as using different Rinnegan techniques, as well as he's using his demon blood art, mainly using lotus vines as well as frozen lotuses to try and attack using shards, as well as trying to use the lotus vines to trap Obito so that he can't use Kamui, or else these blades will hit him as well. And with Sasuke using his demon blood art, which is just lightning in general, he would have to constantly be on the defense, and would every time he tried to touch Naruto or Sasuke, whenever he does touch it, they would just rip off their arms, and their arms would just get absorbed into the Kamui dimension, with them immediately regrowing their arms. With the fight now coming to a close, Naruto would just then summon his divine his water lily Buddha statue, and with that coming into the picture and everything frozen, Naruto's Buddha would launch off a massive gust of Naruto's deadly ice from its mouth, and it would deliver very powerful physical attacks using its large arms onto Obito, with Obito not being able to defend, as well as getting some of Naruto's deadly ice into his system, like his lungs and stuff. The Hashirama cells wouldn't be able to heal his wounds and the destruction of his organs fast enough, and would ultimately die during that time. With now all the Kage now dead, as well as Obito now being dead, Zetsu would try to run away, but because Naruto's sensory abilities are so good, in fact, Naruto would be able to sense where Zetsu is and would appear where he pops out, and would immediately kill Zetsu. When I mean Zetsu, I mean Black Zetsu. So Zetsu is now out of the picture. Kage would never be able to be revived, but the Kage is now dead and no one able to take care of the villagers. Naruto would take advantage of this, as he kind of wants to rule everything at this point, as if he rules everything, no one can stop him in what he wants to do, and he'd be able to be a cult leader, being the king of the world and a tyrant to all those. with heading back to the Konoha, he would say that he killed all the other Kage, as well as, Madara Uchiha, as people think, and would start to devise a plan, as well as using Danzo as a pawn, and would tell Danzo that if he wants power, he can be a demon like himself and Sasuke. With Danzo not wanting, he wants to be a demon, but he doesn't want to be controlled by someone else. He would try to, lie to Naruto, saying that he will become his servant or his follower. Naruto being able to, sense lies and be able to see the blood vessels in Danzo's face change with him lying. He'd be able to sense Danzo's, ambitions and what he wants to do. He wants to control Naruto, and he's lying to him, saying that he would become his his servant and follower. Naruto would say that lying to him isn't really a nice thing, and he's just being mean to him in general. With Danzo seeing that he's been made, would try to reveal his Koto Matsukami, his Shisui Sharingan, but before he could, Naruto snatches the eye out of his face, immediately, crushing the eye. Well, not really crushing, but absorbing it into his body, as it just absorbs the Sharingan into his eye, into his hand. With Danzo now not being able to cast Koto Matsukami, Naruto would say once again if he wants to become a demon and become his pawn, as Naruto wants to take over the entire world as he wants to become a tyrant and have Konoha at the absolute peak of power. This is what actually Danzo wants as an absolute. He wants Konoha to be at the absolute peak of power, and would agree with Naruto, saying that if Naruto can lead them, as well as heal them and make him, immortal in a sense, he would follow Naruto, with Naruto giving some of his blood to Danzo. With that now happening, and the villagers now lacking a Kage and having nobody to really take care of the villagers, Naruto and Konoha would launch an absolute war on the entire world, basically making the fourth ninja war, with the shinobi of Konoha as well as all the shinobi of all the other villages would go in a war, with Naruto being at the forefront, basically using a Kurama avatar or Ninetales avatar, using his ice as well as combination with the chakra, and would lay waste to all the other villagers, with the villagers not having any power to put up the front with Naruto and his the Ninetales. All the other villagers would submit to Konoha, and Konoha would reign supreme over all the villagers. We'll skip 10 years during this time. Nothing has really changed, with Naruto being a bloodthirsty killer and having no empathy. But during this time, Naruto would be able to summon the Geromazo, and would see that there is the 8 Biju in there, sensing that he can summon the 10 tails during this, because all that stuff just comes to the Rinnegan. He would rip out the 9 tails chakra from him and insert it into the 10 tails husk, and would then rejuvenate the 10 tails. With the 10 tails now being revived, Naruto would seal it into himself, now becoming the 10 tails Shinchuriki, but keeping his same his same figure with his yellow hair, and he would still have pale skin, but he'd still have his same rainbow pastel eyes. With Naruto becoming an absolute unit now, he is now the 10 tails Shinchuriki, a demon with absolute regeneration, and now having an army over the entire world and being the most powerful person in history, even surpassing the Sage of Six Paths. There's nothing that can really stop Konoha or Naruto. And with Tonari, we'll go into the Tonari arc, which is the final movie. With Tonari now coming down to the world, Earth, as he wants to collect the Hyuga Princess, Naruto, who is seeing that Tonari is trying to collect on a meal, which is, Hinata's sister, as he's planning to eat Hinata's sister, Hanabi, later during the year, as he wants her to grow a bit more, to become more nutritious. But before Tonari could come down, Naruto is able to, just immediately kill him, freezing him, using different ice blades to kill Tonari before he can do anything to harm the world. With Tonari dead and all that happening, there's not much to say about the rest of the rest of Naruto in general, Naruto would continue to be the Hokage, as well as having Sasuke and Danzo by his side, being immortal by themselves as well. With the Otsutsukis coming down, that being, Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki, with Naruto not really caring about the village and its people in general, Naruto would also, being the 10-tailed Jinchuriki and all, having all these overpowered powers, would be able to defeat all those Otsutsuki with ease. And with Ishiki coming into that, that's where I'll leave it off, as that can be off on a different time. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe button. Make sure to do all that stuff to get some new videos. That'll pretty much be the end of this series, as I just wanted to wrap all this up. Being a demon and Naruto being Doma in general, there's not much the Narutoverse can do if those powers are combined with the Nine Tails. Naruto would just take over the world at this point. He would have free range to eat whoever he wants. No one can contest his power. Sasuke being just like Kokushibo in a sense, Naruto being Muzan kind of. Doma would, in the Narutoverse would kind of slam as Naruto. So, if you loved this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button. The next what if I'll be doing is what if Naruto was, well, you'll find out that.